Hey, it's Steve Tenorello with Ad Machines. Welcome, machine members, to this episode of Lead Generation Nation. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Get Your Cool Back campaign and how we put together an offer for AC replacement. I'm going to be sharing with you my ad copy formula. This is the method that we follow here internally at Ad Machines anytime we build a new campaign. There are 10 different elements that we look at when building out an ad. There are all the factors. It's a checklist that we use to make sure that we're not missing anything, that we're talking to the right audience, and that we're including all the things that make us competitive when positioning a specific offer. Few things to keep in mind. We're going to put strategy before tactics. It's always a good idea to think things through before you make an investment in your advertising. The more pieces that you follow in the ad copy formula, the higher the probability of success. So before you spend a nickel in advertising, you always want to make sure that you have your ad down and consistent. So I like to really sit down and brainstorm here with my team. We'll put together a sales letter, and this acts as a management document. So anytime we go out and put together a piece, anytime before we make an investment, we're going to use this as our guide. And this process has been very successful for us throughout the years, and I'm going to share with you the different factors and give you some ideas that you can incorporate into your own advertisement. For machine members who are part of Lead Generation Nation, there's a sales letter that you can download and use for your offer. So let's go ahead and get started putting strategy before tactics. And by the way, that's something that I picked up throughout my career, probably early on, maybe 15 years ago. That was a book written by a gentleman by the name of John Jantsch, Duct Tape Marketing, and he talks heavily about putting strategy before tactics. So, and this is the early components of crafting a campaign. So let's go ahead and get started. The speed factor in home services, speed is huge. The faster you can solve somebody's problem, the immediacy that you can use in your ad copy, the faster it is, the better the result. So in the case of AC replacement, we're talking about next day installation. That's an example, especially in a heat wave. If somebody's AC unit just stopped working, that's a really good lead, and next day installation talks to that kind of person. And by the way, this ad copy formula can be used in any type of media. This can be used in a Facebook ad, this can be used in a Google ad, it can be used in a direct mail piece, a print ad, and even a TV commercial. So once you nail this down and you put together a working document, you can use this in any media. So this is the hard part of creating the ad. Buying the media is easy. Next thing we want to look at is the trust factor. You want to go back and online reviews. That's the most easiest way for you to incorporate trust. Get a picture of the person and their testimonial and what they had to say. You want it to be very specific about the product or service that you're trying to sell here. So if you can go back and find some AC replacement clients last season, that's going to be good material to put into your marketing. We like to put this into our machine sites landing pages. We have a built-in integration with Google reviews and other review entities where we pull this information in automatically and it rotates. So this is a good way to build trust and get third-party affirmations. If you can get a third party to confirm the trust, this is also going to help you eliminate a sales objection later on in the process. Well, let me speak to 3 of your customers that were happy with you. Well, Mrs. Jones, if you looked on our website, you can see that we have 500 plus Google reviews or 150 5-star reviews, and 30 of them talk about their experience with AC replacement. So you can get that out of the way up front early on. That way you're not stumbling over a sales opportunity in a closing sequence. The next thing we want to talk about is the local factor. There's a certain percentage of people who like to buy from people who are local, family-owned businesses. They don't like to buy from national companies or big box chains. They like to promote their local community. I'm one of those shoppers. I like to do business with my local people. So how can you be the local guy? There's a good chance that you service a 20-mile radius, a 50-mile radius. You might have multiple locations. So one way to do that is to incorporate the name of the city in your copy, especially online, and the local phone number. And when you use an 800 number, that actually will help you. That would go against you in decreasing your lead conversion. When you use a local phone number, we get about 10 more points on our lead conversion when we do that. So we use our landing page technology and digital ads. We have machine location, which injects the name of the city or town that the person is searching from, plus it serves up a local phone line. So there's technology out there that does this. We have our own version of that. So you can put that into your landing page online, into your copy in the newspaper, be the local guy. Use examples of local chamber of commerces in your copy. Anything you can do to relate to the local audience that will help you gain some points in terms of lead conversion here. The next thing is the most obvious thing is, what do I do next? What do you want me to do? And you don't want your ad to do too much. You just want them to take the next step in your sales process. If you sit down and write things out in a piece of paper, how do I get from A to Z, and what are the steps in between? You don't want to go right to Z right away. Let's set up a time and perform a free in-home inspection or a free in-home estimate. That's the natural next step to getting a quote to install and replace an AC unit. And don't be too fancy here. Some people call it a consultation. It's an estimate. You get a quote. That's what people see, and you want to keep the sales side of things out of this at this point. The goal of this campaign is to do what? Is to generate a lead, an interest. Some people are going to be good fits, other people's aren't. You're going to qualify that opportunity. There's no way to prejudge or pre-qualify somebody this early on. We're just getting them into the sales funnel. So you want to think about your hook. What do you want me to do next in the sales process? That's the offer. The benefits factor. I had a client one time who talked about the radio station they listened to, WIIFM.com. What's in it for me? It took me a while to figure that out, but the benefits, what's in it for the person who's searching or looking for your company. And really, we're not talking about features. We're talking about emotional triggers. What are the emotional triggers that you can incorporate into your ad copy? I have 2 little kids at home. If it's a 100-degree day and I don't have air conditioning, I'm going to be worried and up all night, just thinking about how uncomfortable they are. You could do that in heating season. That's probably a little bit more distressful. Don't sleep in the cold. What are the emotional triggers? If the unit is loud, maybe it overheats and it just stops working and it takes 3 days for it to get back up again. Or perhaps you're throwing money into it, you're always repairing it, but you never have the funds to actually replace it. What are the emotional triggers? We're not talking about the features sets of the units. We're talking about what's going to drive somebody in to solve their pain. We want to talk to the pain. We want to talk to their challenge, or perhaps they have a goal they want to accomplish. Right? So what are those things? And these are the most common ones that we run into. Consistent cooling, never breaks down on you. It's quiet, long lasting, dependable. It'll just work. Air conditioning is just one of those things that people don't think of. It's on the side of their house and it just works. And when it stops working, it's a very painful feeling. It's an event in their life that was unexpected. So you want to be able to solve that in a very direct way, and you can use words like this in your advertising to help you talk to those emotional triggers. Perhaps somebody just moved into a home and they spent $300 or $400 on the electrical bill, and hey, guess what? It was their AC unit. It was just eating electricity. So you talk about energy savings. There are all these things that you can incorporate into the emotional triggers. The next thing we want to talk about is the value factor, the perceived value. Value is one of those things that, in a situation where I'm comparing your company to somebody else, and in an apples to apples comparison, you guys are pretty much the same. Good reputation, good process, good training. I like both of you. It's hard for me to make a decision. There's a lot of that out there. There's some really good companies in your market. So how do you overcome that? Well, you could give something of way of value. You can talk about something that's going to lead into a relationship, and that's the natural process that happens in any type of HVAC job, whether it's repair, maintenance, or replacement, that leads to other things, especially if you're multi-trade. So what are some ideas of the value factor? You could give away a free Nest thermostat or a smart thermostat. That's pretty hot right now. People are thinking about that. That's a $300 value. $1,000 cash back on a credit card. You could do that, right? That takes a little bit of working your numbers, but you could figure that out. Free filters for life. That's something that you could incorporate into a service plan, or 10 years of service for free. We'll maintain the warranty of the unit for you, Mrs. Jones. It's all based on the long-term game plan of your business. If you're looking to just get in and get out and make as much money as possible, then this is going to be hard for you to figure out. What kind of value can you leave? Maybe you leave 3 filters behind and say, hey, good luck with it. But if you're looking to build a long-term relationship with the client, you're looking at the long-term lifetime value of that relationship. What are some value? What are the things that you can give away in a competitive situation that will help you gain this business? Something that gives you an edge. All right. The next thing we want to look at is the promise factor. What is your bold guarantee? A lot of us say, 100% guarantee. What does that mean? Right? It has to pass the so what test. If your guarantee doesn't pass the so what test, it's not compelling enough. You really want to think deep down and figure out what is the promise that you can make, the most confident promise that you can make that makes you feel very uncomfortable when you say it. So, something very bold, something that your competitors aren't willing to do, and it should play along the lines of your reputation, right? If you have a positive track record, then the bolder the better. Why not put your neck out there and put something out there that you can stand by? You may have 1 or 2 occurrences a year, but so what? It's going to help you close more deals. So the no breakdown guarantee. If for any reason your new air conditioning unit breaks down in the next 10 years, we'll come out and fix it for free, Mrs. Jones. You never have to worry about it. I own this thing for the next 10 years. No breakdown guarantee. No lemon guarantee. That's a popular one, but you want to stay away from the things that are overplayed. A lot of people have pretty much the same kind of thing. It's kind of like the red carpet experience, the upfront pricing, the flat rate book, warehouse on wheels. 10 years ago that was a thing. Today everybody does that. So what is the one thing that you can do to differentiate yourself in the marketplace and put out a big bold guarantee, something that would make your competitors really scratch their head and say, what's he thinking of? And deep down, that's something that will help you really close more deals, and it's something to really sit down and think about over the next few years in your business. The differentiation factor, or the difference factor. What makes you different and unique compared to your competitors? Long-term experience. That says a lot. 3rd generation. Since 1982. You can latch yourself on to big name brands like Lennox Premier Dealer. I'd probably stay away from a Carrier presidential award, only because Carrier has been in the news recently with some negative press. But Can you latch on to a vendor, and if they give you a badge, that's something you could put here. A plus BBB rating. So what? That's everybody kind of has that. You just pay the man, and they give you a badge. What's something that you do that's different and unique? You could talk about your training. You're NATE certified. Perhaps you have your own in-house training environment. You give away your own certification. So those are things to think about in your ad copy. What makes you different and unique? What's compelling about you? Everybody can say the same thing, but we've been around, Mrs. Jones, for 25 years. We've installed 50,000 units. We're celebrating our 50,000th unit this year, and you might be one of them. So let's go ahead and get that in there. So that could be something that you work with too. So there are all these things that you can throw into differentiation. You're different, unique compared to your competitors. You just have to brainstorm and take a break from your daily grind and sit down in your office and or go out and take a walk and think about what makes you different and unique, or perhaps you have a vision of how you want to be different and unique, and that's something you could put into your business, like ad machines, handcrafted lead generation. It took me years to figure that out. Everybody kind of says the same thing in our space. Yeah, we're the pay-per-click experts, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, get you the first page. It's all the same stuff. So how do you stick out in a crowded marketplace? Handcrafted lead generation. We customize every experience. We have programs like this. We talk about the education-based stuff of what we do. So, what's something that you can say that nobody can say in your marketplace? The easy factor. There's way too many barriers to entry in your business. You just don't know where they are. They're on the phone usually. Some phone work needs to be addressed when you launch a campaign like this. You should have scripts in place when you get going. You don't want to trip up on an opportunity. You especially don't want to charge a call out fee to run a sales opportunity here. If you do, this campaign's probably not for you. What can you do to reduce the barrier to entry, in making things easy for people, easy to take the next step? Flexible weekend and evening appointments. We're available on the weekends. We're available at night when you get home. When you're sitting down behind the kitchen table, we'll show up and get you a price. You don't have to take off from work to get a quote on your AC replacement. Payments as low as $69 a month, $99 a month. You can work in your financing. What is the flexibility that you can incorporate? Now, a lot of it is just getting to the kitchen table, and it happens in your organization. Something as easy as sending out an email after you get somebody's information to book a free in-home estimate. Hey, thanks for the opportunity. Here's what's going to happen next. Set up all the expectations, lay out the process. Those are all the small things you can be doing to help you really accelerate your sales. And it all starts here with sitting down and talking about these 10 factors. And finally, the last factor is the urgency factor. A little bit different than speed. You don't want to confuse the two. That's why I put this last. Urgency is one of those things that you need to take action right away. And I'm not a big fan of salesy urgency. Like in my organization, we don't have end of the month specials. The price is the price. We don't create artificial urgency just to get a deal in by the end of the month. And that's something that you might be doing now, and some of that works. I think some of that's overplayed, especially if you're working with a smarter shopper. You see that a lot in your local mattress stores. They're always trying to get the mattress sold by the end of the month. There's a quota that needs to be achieved. If you're listening to this in the last week of the month, you have salespeople trying to wrap up deals and get you to take action. Everybody works on a quota if they're in sales. So what are the things that you can do to incorporate the urgency early on? Remember, we don't want to do too much in our initial sales copy because we just want to get the lead. So we want to hint the urgency. So you want to ask about. So we want people to pick up the phone and call. So you could work in things like Ask about our cash back offer that's expiring on 4/30 or 5/30 or June 30th. Ask about our current stock levels for next day installation. Ask about the 3 units we have remaining. That's an example of urgency using scarcity. So, those are all things that you can incorporate into building urgency. You don't want to be too fake. People are going to sniff that out, especially people who have money and pre-qualified to buy from you. Be very subtle about it. Be indirect about the urgency up front. You don't want to be a hard closer up front. You're going to scare people away. And that's all I have. With this training, there is a sales letter that goes along with this, a template you can use. We're going to include that for machine members. Just go ahead and download that. It's in a Word document you can use to, kind of copy paste and take information from and change it around, tweak it, make it your own. So I hope you found this helpful. Looking forward to having you go through the series here and getting a lot of value out of your membership here at Lead Generation Nation. Thank you for your time.